live.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the Tail Racing Ring Runners for the Arca round of our season. Including this one, there are just 3 more rounds to go now in Season 8. The end of 2024 is very nearly upon us. We are, of course, a couple of weeks away from Duck Week and the final race of the season. But between now and then, the Arca round and the Radical SR8s next week will be with us. It's myself, Ian Lillery, and James Parfitt again for another round of the championship. And this is a car that we used last time, of course. We did use this in the last season of this championship, but we used a much shorter layout. This time around, we're on the long layout. Took me in a little bit of a longer race, but no less difficult for everybody.
No, the Arca car is one of these cars that we talk about is not really suited to this circuit. And it does deliver great racing, and I'm kind of expecting that this should be exactly the same, I think, to be honest. We always get great racing here as well, so I don't expect this to be any different.
Yeah, indeed. Let's have a look at the championship standing coming in. This, of course, with some of the drop rounds applied. We have got Curry Stas leading the way by, 3 points ahead of Evan Crutwell, with Jason Hightower next, and Dave Mull, Rick Putnam, all very close as well. Dave Hernandez is 6th ahead of Matt Greenhill. There's a big gap there. Dean Diltz is the only other driver over 100 points. Pat Labrosse, Patrick Elstrad, Aaron Smith and Ray 2 haven't been at very many of the rounds so far. In the AMS, Dan Kosick is leading by 18 points over Scott Sadler, with Tim Warshow in 3rd. Chase Petterjohn and Dylan Hessink round out the top 10, with Pat Mace next. Alexander Pettas is 7th, though he hasn't been here for a while. It is Jamie Bender 8th, ahead of Bradley Livingston and Nancy Sereno. Anthony Solomon is just outside the top 10. Asia Condon is 12th, ahead of Tim Teng, Tim Cunningham and Stephen Johnson rounding out the field. For this race, we line up with Aaron Smith leading the way. A great qualifying from him, 7 seconds quicker than Dean Diltz, who was only just quicker than Rick Putnam and Curry Stas. Jason Hightower 5th, out of Anthony Sereno, who's taken pole in the AMS. Dave Mull is 7th, out of Scott Sadler. Then those that didn't qualify. Dave Hernandez will be 9th, out of Dan Kosick, the championship leader for the AMS. Pat Mason and Tim Warshow will be sharing row 6, and Anthony Solomon and Dylan Hesslink as well in the 14th and final position. So they're all ready and raring to go. That was a very good qualifying, I've got to say, from Aaron Smith. I wonder whether he can repeat that kind of form in the race.
Well, I think at the end of the day, we're going to find out. He absolutely nailed the lap, didn't he? And did a great job in the process. So for Aaron Smith, it's really all about what he can do here. If he can get away at the start, there's no saying he's just going to run away with it, because 7 seconds over a lap is a massive gap by the time they get over the 4 laps.
Of course, the standings you've just seen, by the way, are with one of the drop weeks. So the unofficial ones with 3 just put Rick Putnam back in the lead again, but it's by no means over. Curry Stas, Evan Crutwell and Jason Hightower are all very close behind indeed in the pro standings. So a pretty important race, and you can't really afford any slip-ups, especially if you are Rick Putnam and you've missed 3 rounds so far. Every single point that you're here for, every single point from here on in indeed, will count to the total. Into the final few corners then they come here in these Arca cars. These are modelled on the Gen 4 NASCAR Cup Series machines we used between 1992 and the mid-2000s. So we're going back a bit with these. Not used to going round the North Cypher at all. Let's see who can tame this the best as they make their way now through the final couple of corners. Smith will be soon in control of the field. How long is he going to leave it on the way up towards the line here? Well, he's going to leave it a little bit of time. Everybody else forced to wait for a little moment, and then, oh no, still not going. A few restless legs in the background. And then, finally, as they get up to the line, pretty much as they get to the green flag, and indeed, at the very latest possible moment, Aaron Smith gets us underway. He did not want a big run down in towards turn 1. It's going to keep the field very tight and compacted on the way towards the opening game. First time round, that's a big dive down the inside from somebody. Oh, as they get through turn 1 and 2. It's Diltz who's down the inside through turn 2. They're on Smith, and he might well be in the lead, but no, Smith gets the exit, and he gets back into the lead again ahead of Diltz. Putnam holds on to 3rd ahead of Corey Sass and Dave Mull in the top 5.
Yeah, Smith got away at the start. He did hold them very, very long indeed. Right up until the line, you see Hessling's dropped off about a second at the back end already, but Smith's got away at the front. Dean Dilt's in there, Putnam, Stas, Mole, Sereno leading the AMs, so all not done yet, but they have got a bit of a longer run this time around this circuit in this car, of course, so it's going to be interesting to see how they get on. But if Aaron Smith gets away, I think we could be race over.
Sadler and Hernandez, meanwhile, going side by side into the Schumacher S. That's for 8th place overall. They have they sorted themselves out? He's back through again here. It's Hernandez by the looks of things, as Sadler is really struggling. He wants, of course, to stay ahead of Dan Kosick, who he's fighting with the championship. Oh, a bit wide from Hernandez. Back through will come Sadler. Kosick has a look at the inside as well. Everyone's being a bit careful, to be honest, because you have to be in this car. Sereno goes a little bit wide, gets a bit loose there, and Mullen Hightower goes straight through. Jason Hightower looking to get into the top 5 here on the way towards the chicane.
Yeah, in 6th at the moment. Currently, you got Dave Mole there. Hightower's tucked him right behind him, not too far back whatsoever. In fact, he's that close. So Dave Mole now is going to be under pressure here with Hightower in behind. 7/10 up front already. And we're now entering into the part of the Nords where Mr. Smith seems absolutely mighty. So Dilts is going to have his work cut out here, I think, trying to stay with him.
Seems like he's fighting with the car as well. We ride on board with him there. Such a big battle in these cars just to get them round. Of course, maybe qualifying wasn't representative, but Aaron Smith dominated that session 7 seconds quicker than Dean Dilts and indeed anybody else in the qualifying session. I'm wondering whether that is going to be representative or not. So far, I mean, he's pulled a second through the Hatzenbach through the north side for the first time. Maybe that is a representative gap. Maybe he really is a lot quicker than the rest of the field.
It's quite scary, isn't it? Quite scary when you see a 7-second gap over the field in quali, and he's opened up 1.4 going out to 1.5 as well. This could be dangerous territory now, because if they let Smith get away, all Smith's really got to do, keep it on the racetrack. Sereno has passed Dave Mole. Mole's been off the side of the circuit. We'll have a look back at that at the replay section of the broadcast towards the end. Scott Sadler is in the mix on the way down into Arenberg. He has got Dan Kosick tucked in right behind him. Dave Hernandez in front of him.
Yeah, this is just in the second half of the field. They're sort of being held back at the moment from actually getting to the leader in Amel, though Anthony Sereno is holding back Dave Mull himself, so it's not all the pros' fault. Up into Adenauer Force they go. Getting earlier enough on the brakes to slow down in time. Hernandez barely did, though. He barely made the corner there. And Scott Sadler now gets right up to the back of him through Adenauer first. And Sadler will be looking for his way through wherever possible. Solomon and Mish further behind are quite close together as well, but I can only imagine how difficult it's going to be to overtake on these sections of the racetrack, whereas everywhere else, or indeed the back straight, it might be possible. Everywhere else, it's going to be very difficult indeed.
Yeah, I can't really see much being done during this section, unless there's a mistake. To be honest with you, I think a lot of it is going to come down that dotting a hoe towards the end. You can see they're already starting to spread out at the front. 1.6, 1.2, 2.1, 1.72. You know, Mole has got Sereno in front of him at the moment. Hernandez, Sadler with Kosick not too far back. Solomon here chasing down Patrick Mesek, of course, goes through. Mesek does make a mistake. Solomon does go through.
Yep. That's pretty easy for Solomon into 11th place. Sereno continues to hold back Mull, and Hernandez holding back Sadler and Kosick. Those two, of course, top two in the AM Championship, as I talked about at the start. Kosick with 18 points if you apply one drop week. If you apply 3, there's only 3 points between them, Kosick and Sadler. So it is still a very close championship indeed, because, of course, by the end of the season, there will be 3 drop weeks applied. Dean Dilts has made a mistake somewhere. He's dropped from second, and Rick Putnam now moves up to that runners-up spot.
He did. He looked like he has made a mistake. Unfortunately, we'll pick up on that a little bit later on. Corey Stas, it looks like he's been off. Tom Wutchow, Patrick Mesek has also been off. Obviously, what we saw there. Moles now losing time to Sereno quite rapidly. Sadler still trying to close in on Hernandez. So we'll keep an eye and see how this one goes. But it's looking like at the moment that big disparity across the pace in this car is, well, showing over lap 1, because Smith is now 4.4 seconds ahead of Putnam.
Yeah, I think part of that, of course, is the mistake. I think Dilts was staying a lot closer, but even so, to have this amount of time over Putnam is pretty impressive indeed. Putnam, of course, has been at top of the standings, if you count the overall points, for quite a while now, ever since especially he took those 3 wins in 3 weeks. A few weeks ago, that ended, of course, at the mini stocks. He's not been on the podium since then. Maybe today can be the end of that, although he locks up into the carousel. He misses the banking itself, and so that is a drop down of position. There goes Hernandez into 9th place. Scott Sadler moves up into 8th and leaves behind Dan Kosick now.
Yeah. That was a mistake from Hernandez, and we've seen that so many times over the season. People popping out the carousel, and it just, well, it just scrubs your speed. Unfortunately, you've just got no options after that, apart from trying to get it round there as well. Hightower has closed in onto the back of Sereno, so these two are going to have a little bit of a ding-dong as they're coming through the final sections, getting down onto the Dottingham.
Yeah, this is the real twisty section before the finish of the lap, and this is for 4th place now, with Dilts having dropped back. Corey Stas is up to 3rd, so it's all looking good for those two in the championship, Putnam and Stas, although Stas probably does need to start beating Putnam in a few of these races. Up over the top of the hill they go now, back down again towards Flanscott. On board we go with Jason Hightower here, just in behind Anthony Sereno, who's the leader in AM, and he's getting himself a real nice advantage now. Not least he's getting that protection from some of the pros around him, but actually he's just driving well himself and leaving behind the rest of the field. Scott Sadler about 5 seconds behind in 2nd.
Yeah, he's opened up quite a lot of a gap in that AMS at the moment. Sereno's just got to keep it on track. I think that's the thing for him, just to make sure you can get this car to the end. It's so easy to make a mistake. Like that in front, as you can see. And unfortunately, that's Dilts down the order again. So from 2nd at the moment, down into 6th for Dean Dilts.
Yeah, he's made a few errors on this lap now, and drops all the way down. So that's put Sereno up to 4th overall as an AM leader. That's pretty remarkable as they make their way through Gammenkopf now, trying to get themselves out the corner all right, and he does. Jason Hightower will be looking for a way through here, up to 3rd. Long gears, of course, in this car. There's only 4 of them, and you've got to have that long range to the end of the Dottingham here, and that 4th gear will be quite long. So where's he going to hit the limit here? They're going to get right up towards 200 miles an hour sort of thing here. It's going to be really, really fast indeed, but the slipstream not playing much of a role at the moment. Hightower not able to really get anywhere through the kink under the Bilstein Bridge. It gets difficult here in this car. Don't forget, they're so fast that they've got to get on the lifting off and braking so early here in the Arca cars. Down the hill they go through the Tiergarten, and Sereno able to hang on. It's not as easy on the back straight as you might expect. It's difficult on the brakes though. Sereno went very wide there. Still single file back here as Hernandez holds back Dan Kosick into the Tiergarten as well. And there you go. I thought Sereno over and wide, and it certainly has cost him a place there. Jason Hightower moves through into 4th over the end of the opening lap.
Oh, it's not done yet. Is it done? It is done now. Sereno does allow him to go through. Hightower goes in deep, very, very deep. Sereno sweeps around the outside. Is he going to be able to make it all the way round at the moment? He has, but that's also brought in Dilts in the mix as well. So Dilts is now fighting his way through. You can see Dilts has hit the wall. He's got damage on that front left for Dean Dilts.
Yes, there it is. That's the front left. You can see a lot more of the wheel than you should be able to. And so Dean Dilts has hit the wall somewhere. I don't know where, though. Maybe at Bergwerk. He, of course, lost a position to Putnam out of Bergwerk. That's a left-handed wall that you might be able to hit, so maybe it was there. But we'll find out at the end, as always, as Pat Mesh comes into the pit lane. That's the first stopper of the day. On board we go with Dilts here as he looks at Hightower and Sereno up ahead. you say, Hightower had the positioning towards turn 1, but actually outbroke himself. Bit of an unforced error, really. I know he was side by side, but he certainly didn't need to brake as late as he did, and it's cost him that position gain that he just made. Now back down to 5th place again.
Hightower was on the curb there, and unfortunately that car decided it doesn't like it. So he had to be a little bit careful there for Hightower, otherwise he would have ended up in a wall somewhere, but he did manage to keep it on the race circuit coming into the left-right before we go back out on to Nords again. A bit of a mission for these guys. Hightower got that car right on the ragged edge. Dilts, and slid in sideways.
That was brave and a good car control, to be fair, but even so, that was a nervy moment as they go down the hill again. Serino still at the front of this group. Hightower crawling all over the back of him. Further behind, Dan Kosick has got past Dave Hernandez, by the way, on the Grand Prix circuit last time round, so Kosick's up to 9th place now in the field.
That's because Hernandez made a mistake.
All right, okay. As always, we'll look at anything major at the end. Mull is catching these guys as well, actually, from 7th place. So this group could be getting even larger in a moment.
Yeah, it looks like he's just coming onto the back end, isn't he? 1.5. They keep fighting now. Then he's going to be right there at the moment. But there's been a few that look like Patrick Mesek is also at a moment once again. So we will have a look at that later on, of course. But Dean Dilts closing in. Do you know, it was quite a surprise for me because I thought they would have been able to go a lot faster, but it didn't show. The draft didn't really play a massive part, did it? Because, well, you saw Hightower just pulled out, hit the wall of air, and had nowhere to go.
I mean, he didn't even get close enough to pull out of the slipstream, did Hightower, that time round. So, yeah, it is difficult. I think that then in that case, it's going to be more about mistakes being made from those ahead, and those are very possible, as you can see there. Hightower and Dilts both up the curb and both sliding on the exit, but if the driver ahead of you doesn't make any mistakes like that, doesn't really wrong foot themselves, then it could be very difficult to pass because of the slipstreaming or lack of slipstreaming that we saw earlier.
Yeah, that could have been... If Dilts hadn't made the mistake, he would have been right on Hightower. And the problem is that Hightower was still sliding. Dilts is still sliding as well. Mole is now a second back. There he is in the background. So this is going to be a 4-car fight very, very shortly here. And I think it's going to be... they can't keep making the same mistakes, shall we say. They can't make the same mistakes. Dylan Hessling looked like he's made another one. David Hernandez looks like he's been off track again and now lost that place to Anthony Solomon. So Hernandez is down in 11th.
Hernandez indeed goes back to the pit lane, I'm afraid. So that might well be our first retirement of the race. We'll see the reasons for that, of course, a little bit later. Mull catches up to the back now of Dean Dilts. In this battle. It is quite a big group now, but how difficult this car is to control. We spoke about it a lot last season, of course, when we only used the Nordschleife. Don't forget, we didn't even use the Grand Prix circuit in any form last time around. We saw, though, that time around that the cars are still actually quite fast, so the race is actually quite short last season. We've made it into a much more normal distance this time round, using the 24-hour layout for the final time this season of the Nurburgring Nordschleife. Serino still at the head of this group. Putnam and Stas not quite in a battle yet. This is certainly the most interesting group to be watching around the field. And again, you're always in these battles watching for the next mistake, watching for the next move. Dean Dilts making a rather brave one into Bergwerk there. Yeah,
we're having a go there with Dilts. He's looked a little bit on the kind of ragged edge almost. And he's going to be very, very... Ooh! That car going up, didn't he? Just over that little incline there as well. It's crazy.
So difficult, this car. And the fact it's so powerful and, well, obviously powerful, difficult to get the power down, that much is clear. But actually, I think the speed somewhat hurts this car sometimes around here. The fact it goes so fast means that everything's coming at you so quickly around here, and it's just too difficult to almost cope with. Dilts in the grass again there a little bit on the way towards the style striker. That's a bit of a lock up there from Serino just up ahead. More sliding on the exit. This is just a really intense race. Yeah, just 4 laps, of course, but really intense throughout here for absolutely everybody.
It's just a fight after a fight after a fight. Oh, no. Oh.
Oh, he had a look. Serino was struggling there on the exit of the carousel, and Hightower couldn't quite take advantage as they go to the highest point of the circuit now through Horakton. Surely this is going to be too difficult to overtake through the next section now.
Yeah, you can't do it. You've got a fast left, you left, and then you're fast right. Dabbing the brakes, get it into the left-hander as well down the hill. Then you're looking for the curb on the inside because you can jump a bit of that curb that they have done. Holding it now up the other side on the brakes again. You drop straight down the other side as well of the hill. Down you go into the left-hander again, dabbing the brakes, dragging that third gear, dragging the brakes all the way round, trying to hold the car, pull it in, drag it in again as much as you can. It's a very, very good, it's a really good section of the racetrack, this part, and I think it's one of the best ones on there, but it's so intense and you can see them working so hard. Take the curb on the exit, straighten it up, there we go, and now we're down the hill the other side at the moment. But yeah, this is, look at this is probably harder than going to the gym for half an hour.
This is I think nice and controlled from Hightower there. I think he's driving a bit better now, driving well now. And you can just see, by the way, he's watching what's happening to Serino up in head. And I think you can see that he's backing off a little bit here, Hightower, and just keeping these car. It's a little bit less ragged on board with him than it has been on board with a couple of the others so far. It's a lot easier. And look at this from Serino. Look at the wheel work that will be going on here. You didn't even need to be on board to see this. It was happening up ahead of us at the time. There goes a slide before the small carousel. Now into the small carousel we go. Better through there that time round. But how's his run through Gavinkop? And is he going to have enough to hold on? Meanwhile, Stats, by the way, getting close to Putnam down the back straight at the moment.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Serino is literally at the gym. He is at the gym. That gap between Putnam and Stas has stayed at half a second. This is the Hightower situation again, but man, it's Serino working that wheel, isn't he, in this car? And I don't even know if I'm brave enough to have a go with this car around here, to be honest. Oh, what's gone on between... Hold on.
Oh, yeah, Stas has got through on Putnam. Well, that's quite a late pass in the end. I'm not sure quite how he managed that, really, but Curry Stas is now through. Hightower wasn't even able to get through now, and surely he's going to be ruining the fact that he wasn't able to do it in towards turn 1 on this lap, because it's cost him a lap, effectively. Oh, he's going to get it now, though, surely. Serino with a huge moment into the Tiergarten, and now he's going to get up the curb. He's going to slide. Oh, Hightower follows him into the slide. Oh, that was a golden chance for Hightower, and he's thrown it away. Here comes Dean Dilts as well. It could be going from bad to worse for Jason Hightower, who's wasted a lap behind Serino. He's made an error now in his next attempt to make a move, and Dean Dilts punishes him for it. Dean Dilts up to the top 5. Hightower will be kicking himself.
Oh, man. I thought he had Serino on the ragged edge. Serino made a mistake, then he couldn't get the car settled, then he was literally flooring the throttle, and the car was not having none of it, and then Hightower did exactly the same thing as well. Literally floored the throttle, the car weren't having none of it, and then he put himself under pressure with Dills. Now he's got Mole closing up as well. Putnam has still got Stas just up the road. There is Corey Stas with Rick Putnam in that Pepto-Bismol car.
Yep, that's the big moment there for Jason Hightower, I'm afraid. Now it's time for someone else to have a go at passing Anthony Serino. This is on board with Rick Putnam, who is down to third. As I mentioned, with the pre-drop rounds, provisionally 18 points only would be between Stas and Putnam, so he does need to gain something here. Of course, there's only 1 point for the actual position between second and third, but obviously there's a lot of bonuses in this series, so we will see how they're applied after the race. Meanwhile, Serino finally opens the door, and Dean Dilts looks to try and walk through it here. He's on the outside line for the King, which is pretty difficult in these cars. They go so fast. Oh, big slide for Dilts, and he's going to be through into 4th place. Dean Dilts makes the move. And, Hightower's going to be kicking himself even more as this goes on now. Dean Dilts finally gets through, and Serino punished for an error. Hightower will have been thinking, well, I should have been doing this about 10 minutes ago.
Yep, he should have had that one for Jason Hightower. Now he's got Dilts ahead as well. And Dilts was quick, let's not forget, for the qualifying. He was qualified in second, lost some places at the beginning, and now he's coming back through on lap 3 or 4. But Hightower, yeah, ruined the day. The Tiergarten made him slide that car around.
I'd be going back to the turn 1 of lap 2, to be honest, when he was through
deep,
and then outbroke himself.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the couple of errors anyway that he really could have done without. D. Dilts gets up to 4th, though, ahead of Serino. Can't forget, by the way, Serino's still leading the AM race by some distance at the moment. The fact he's involved in such a pro battle right now does slightly make you forget that, but he's leading the AM class by nearly 10 seconds at the moment, and as long as he just needs to not get involved in any accidents, to be honest, and he will win the class.
Yeah, he's just got to keep it on the circuit. However, he's looked very raggedy. I think for Andy Serino, there was a few times following him on the board with Hightower that you sat back and thought, yeah, I don't know if you're either driving or who's driving who. I thought he was looking up the inside. Who's driving who? But he's got to calm that down a little bit going into lap 3.
I wonder whether he will tone it back here, knowing that there is an AM win on the line, or whether he's still going to go for it. At the moment, it looks like he's still going to be pushing on here. Through the top of the hill they go. AM now first. Oh, a bit wide from Dilts, very wide. And Anthony Serino will be looking for a way through here for sure. Oh, he took the curb though. There was no space there, really. These cars are too big, and he couldn't really find a way through. Here comes Jason Hightower. He's on the outside on the way towards Metzgersfeld. This is going to be brave if he can do it round there. And no, he backs out of it. Probably the sensible choice as well. That'll be difficult in any car. Never mind these ones. So, he's not able to take advantage. Dilts goes off. Oh, he brakes too late at Metzgersfeld, and he's straight into the wall. And that's his day done.
Oh, no. He'd done the hard work. He got second, he lost places, hit the wall, come back through the field, got the car back into 4th, and then goes and gets it all wrong. And unfortunately, at Metzgersfeld, that was it. Game over for Dean Dilts, and he's back in pit lane and out, probably kicking himself in the process.
Oh, that is such a shame for Dean Dilts. Massive shame. And that is that for his day, I'm afraid. It's so easily done. I mean, these brakes are not good. When you compare the size of the car, the amount of weight that the brakes are forced to slow down, and the speed from which they're forced to slow this amount of weight down from as well. These brakes are not not good at all. So you can see how easily it can go wrong. I mean, look at Nurburgring here, long braking zone. And this is not even one of the higher points of the circuit in terms of speed. Another good exit there from Hightower. He's going to get right into the back of Serino here. But don't forget, through Kesselsen, it's a lot more of a corner than it is in other cars. Pretty much all the other machines we've been using this season, it's been flat out through here. But watch this, it's real commitment, using all of the road kind of stuff. And that doesn't help the driver behind particularly. Jason Hightower will be moving in closer from Serino, but no, look at that. I mean, even through that part there, we're not even at the muck curb yet, and he's struggling. It's so difficult to overtake, but there's the mistake from Serino. Can he take advantage finally, Hightower? Oh, he's on the outside line, side by side through the right-hander. It's so close. Oh, catching up. Dave Moore's just going to be forced to watch on, and Hightower gets it done finally. You will believe it's about a lap and a half later than it should have been. However, he's finally got it done at maybe an unconventional place.
Oh, blatantly. Completely not even somewhere where you should have made that as well. It's only the fact that Serino, Hightower's popped out early. Oh no. That's going to bring Serino back into it. There he is.
Oh, no. He's done it again.
He popped out early out of the carousel. And unfortunately, that brought Serino back into the game. Serino's now got and made a mistake. Hightower should get the run through the right-hander. Is he going to look? Oh, breathe in. I thought he was going to have a go at the inside. Oh.
I think if Hightower hasn't pulled his wheel off and thrown it out of his window by the end of this race, I don't know what he's done, because He's had the kind of day where he's taken one step forward and then two steps back pretty much the entire time. And even despite errors up ahead of him, he still can't take advantage. Sereno hanging on by a thread at the moment to this fourth place.
There's nowhere he can go. That's the problem. You can't make a move through here. It's got to take Sereno to be well left for him to even get it. The same here. He's got to wait for Sereno to be all the way to the right in the wall because the cars are lumps. You know, you're trying to get... Oh, no. Oh. You know, it's like trying to get two massive machines on a bit of paper. It ain't going to work. And this is what they've got here. It's so difficult. So difficult.
Very, very tricky indeed. But so frustrating as well for Jason Hightower. No doubt he is still behind Anthony Sereno in this race somehow, despite all of his attempts to go through. Will there be another move, an attempt maybe into the final couple of corners this time around? It's surely there's got to be another go here from Jason Hightower. Surely into the Clyde Carousel they go, and popped out the other side. Now, Garbenkopf, this needs to be a good run, but in some ways it hasn't really mattered so far. Sereno making a mistake may well matter more, but it didn't last time. So let's see this time round. Out of the corner itself, what's the gap? Less than 2/10 of a second. Surely he's going to have a chance here. He's gaining in the slipstream, down in towards the opening corner, or the final corner, I should say, of the circuit. He's going to have a chance this time to at least get side by side. He's in fourth gear. Oh no, he's moving to the inside. He faked it to the right and then went to the left. Here he goes. He's got the inside line under the bridge. This could finally be the moment for Jason Hightower to get through into fourth position here. They're going to try and go side by side. Be careful. Oh, contact. And they're going to make it. Sereno hangs on again. Oh, he's done an amazing job of defending here. And again, he's leading them onto the straight again, but he's wide again. It's the same story from one lap ago. Jason Hightower with the run this time, though. He gets it right. As the white flag waves, he's going to be ahead just about at the line. Can he get his braking right for turn one? He's been here before, don't forget. He went too deep, though, that time round. What about this time? He brakes a bit earlier, I think. Sereno certainly does. Moll's closing dramatically. But Hightower's finally got it. He has consolidated the place through turn 1 and 2. And Jason Hightower is in fourth place.
Oh, man, the question will be for how long? How long will he be there for? I'm not saying I don't want him to be there till the end, right? Because don't get me wrong, I do. But we've seen mistakes happen. And, you know, we've still got a lap to go. Practically, we're going to say a whole lap because we're not even in the Nords yet. So I'm just hoping that Hightower can keep this car where he is. But Sereno, to be fair, although raggedy with some of the driving, has done a great job to keep him behind for as long as he has. And I think that's the thing for Hightower now as well. Sereno's not really out of this. I don't think this is done. Anthony Solomon and Tim Watchow have just had moments as well, so we'll look back at that a little bit later. But I think at the moment, Hightower's just got to make sure that car can get stopped, make sure he can keep it on the racetrack and not let Sereno come back through on him.
Can he hang on finally, Jason Hightower? This is the longest I think he's held fourth place, so he'll be hoping that this will be done now. Actually, Solomon, by the way, had to come in there for whatever reason.
Yeah, he hit the wall.
Okay. Just thought he might have been something else. Fine. 10th place for him, and a very big gap indeed actually from Watchow to Kosick, so might be a battle to the line between those two. We'll check in with them later though, because this for fourth might not be over just yet. I thought Hightower was actually quite a bit quicker than Sereno, by the way he was driving when he was stuck behind him, but he's not particularly got away through the Grand Prix circuit.
No, he hasn't, and that's the problem, isn't it? Because he hasn't opened up enough gap to go into Nords comfortably and concentrate on what he's got to do here, because he's just got Sereno still within that 6/10 mark. Moll's in the background. Moll's almost sat there waiting, isn't he? He's almost sat there waiting for them to make a mistake, waiting for them to take each other out. And then he's just going to come up like the cleanup crew and just go straight through, you know what I mean? And I think that's what it looks like from Dave Moll, but he is not done now. This is the nitty gritty for Hightower. This is where he's got to make sure that he can get this car to the end without any dramas.
Yeah, he
I
has
do say that in a very loose term, Mo, as well. Dramas, by the way.
I mean, there's a drama around every corner in this car by the looks of this race so far. Solomon has indeed caught Watch Out. I suspected he might. And that battle for ninth place may well go on as well. There'll be a lot of places to look here on the last lap. Hightower closed in on by Serino there into Arenberg. That's pretty close between those two. But nothing doing there quite. I'm trying to find... oh yeah, they're just making their way onto the north side for now, Watch Out and Solomon. So he's going to find it a bit more difficult to overtake now. So where does Serino get through, and how desperately does he want to get up into fourth place here, and how much is he going to instead sit back and just enjoy his AM win? Because if he keeps it on the road, then surely he is going to take that class win, but will he let that battle for fourth place enter his mind as well? It looks like he is thinking about fourth at the moment.
Anything can happen. So why would he not be? That's the thing. Hightower could pop out the carousel and go into the wall at Brunchen, or anything like that can happen, or do a Dean Dilts, and we saw what happened at this very corner. So I think there's still options for Serino. There's still options indeed. What are they doing?
This is the battle for ninth between Watch Out and Solomon, and that's a bit wide from Watch Out. Here comes Solomon, having just made that pit stop, of course. Oh, that was very close. He just got the gap at the right time there. Around the outside he goes to it before Svenkoitz. It's a much better run from Anthony Solomon, and he is up to ninth place pretty easily in the end.
Yeah, he got through on that one, did Solomon. Good job. Watch Out didn't really put up much of a fight. It looks like Dylan Hesling's had a bit more of an issue as well. Unfortunately for him, it looks he's all right. He's still going.
Like that out of every corner almost, isn't it?
That's the problem in this car. It could be because they've just literally overtaken each other and then rocketing insane amount of speed with brake pads that aren't designed to go left and right. They literally just go left generally, and that's about it. And then pushing this car upwards of probably 500 brake horsepower, if not more. So, yeah, very scary moment in this car.
There's a scary moment around every corner, it seems, at the moment. Solomon has gotten away, though. He's ninth, and he should stay there. Hightower has got a bit of a gap now over Anthony Serino. 7/10 of a second. In fact, it's a second, I should say. Serino is being pulled in by Mull at the moment. So it is maybe fifth place, the battle that will end this race. But Hightower gets away, and looks like he's finally got that place. 1.5 seconds, 1.6 as they enter into the final section again, now for the final time, of course.
Yeah, he finally managed it there for Hightower and kept hold of it, which is great. Obviously, we were saying that this racetrack at any point could, kill you. So for him, he's done a great job and held on to it there as well, and cleared it, got it done, and away he went. Made it around the carousel, which is vitally important, of course, to make sure you don't pop out. And it's now, 2.1 from Hightower to Serino. So great job from Jason Hightower. Probably lap 2, turn 1. Probably regretted all the way through, right the way through, until he finally got the overtake done. But hey, nothing he could have done. Nothing he could have done whatsoever.
Having said that, though, would he have been able to get past Putnam if he'd have been, would it have mattered anyway, is the point. I mean, he is catching on this last lap, to be fair, and we'll see how quick the last lap is for Hightower now. 7.3 seconds is the gap. So if this time is quicker than what Putnam's been doing so far in the race, then maybe he can look back and think, well, if I'd have gotten that done at the first opportunity like I should have done, then maybe I could have finished ahead of Putnam. Then I think that would frustrate him. But actually, at the moment, I'm not seeing too many signs that he would have finished any higher than fourth anyway.
No. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. That's all I can say on that one. The world's full of what ifs, and at the moment it would have been what if he done that, what if he done that. Well, he didn't, and when he did do it, he overcooked it and he lost it again. So you know, unfortunately, that's all on Mr. Hightower, and he'll go away and reflect on the race and decide whether or not, you know, should I have done that earlier? Should I have not done that earlier? Who knows? But at the end of the day, it's been great racing again in the Arcas. I think they've done a great job. Anybody that finishes this circuit in the Arcas deserves it, and it looks like Solomon lost that place to Watchow. So we'll have a look back and see how I did that.
He's got a load of damage down the right-hand side, so I suspect he's been in the wall again, which has meant he's lost ninth. So we'll see that battle to the line again in a few moments' time. But Aaron Smith, meanwhile, is about to come through the final couple of corners to win this race. He's only been at one round of this season so far. That was in the mini stocks, where he finished in second. I bet you can guess which type of car he enjoys the most. It's the Arcas this time round, and he's taking a very dominant win indeed. One of the biggest of the season, nearly half a minute ahead of the field. Aaron Smith wins for the first time this season in the Tvail Racing Ring Runners Arca edition here at round number 11. Great job from him, and a huge margin of victory as well. Corey Stas is going to make some inroads into Rick Putnam's championship lead by finishing in second place here, so that's a fantastic result for him. Anthony Serino looks like he's going to hold on from Dave Mull for fifth place as Solomon and Watchow battle in the final sector on this very last lap as well. There goes Solomon just after Brunchen. He is through into ninth again.
Yeah, we'll have a look back at that overtake in a moment. Corey Stas is going to come over the line. Rick Putnam going to come over the line here as well. Serena and Mole not far apart. Hightower is there as well. How did he lose that time? Hightower's on the run down to the line at the moment. Who's going to get it? Who's going to get it? Oh, Hightower does. But how?
And a real spin of maybe frustration over the line for Hightower there. 4 thousandths of a second between him and Serino there. That was far too close for comfort there.
Yeah, I want to watch his run down over the line there for Hightower, because I think he clearly made a mistake somewhere, because he lost, what was it, 2.1?
Oh no, Solomon! Oh, he got into ninth and now he's lost it again. Through the Clyde carousel, he's back down to 10th, and see if he can even get back going again here. He looks a bit damaged.
Yeah, he did there as well. He hit the wall, unfortunately, for Anthony Solomon. So, yeah, not ideal moment for him. He wasn't even getting on. He's just getting onto the dotting at home now, isn't he?
Yeah, so that was the Clyde carousel for Solomon, and well, he's not going to get past Borchow now. Again, I think that's a bit of a story of Solomon's race, unfortunately, as well. Decent pace, but he's kept making mistakes. That's how he'd end up down in 10th place rather than in a rather comfortable 9th place, which is what he was for most of that race.
Yeah, that's the thing, I think, at the moment as well for Solomon. He's just been a race of mistakes, and he's just done the same thing again there. So, you know, unfortunately, it is what it is. He's going to ruin a day that he took the Arc around Nords and hit the wall a couple of times.
While we're waiting for these final drivers to come over the line, I want to chat a bit more about the AMs, actually, because we didn't see too much of them while we were watching the battle for fourth place for most of the race. Scott Sadler has beaten Dan Kosick to the line there. Now, as I mentioned, with 3 drop rounds applied provisionally going into this round, there'd be only 3 points between Kosick and Sadler in favour of Dan Kosick, but that's a fantastic result for Sadler to finish ahead of Kosick. Just close that margin a little bit further now with only 2 races to go. Very important for him to have done that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think any points gained now is better than none, and I think for him, definitely needed to as well. Dylan Hesselink, well, his car looks very banged up. A little bit.
Yeah.
It looks like he's squashed the face up, but he's got a Mustang.
It barely looks like an Arca anymore, really.
Yeah. Still going where it needs to, but I don't think, let's see. Yeah, a bit smashed up.
It's just the long shot that made it look a bit strange, but...
no, it just does look a little bit beaten.
No, I mean, as in, I thought that car was driving not straight and looking really, really weird from a distance, but actually it probably was just the distance on that one. It certainly is damaged bodywork-wise, that much is clear. And it's made the front bumper look rather odd as well, actually. I think it's actually opened the grille a bit wider, which is very Very strange. I don't even know if it has or if it's just bent the bumper in a weird way. But anyway, that is a very odd-looking Arca making its way over the line. And Dylan Hessink does indeed finish 12th. Ahead, at least, of 2 non-finishes, as we're about to see in the results. It was a dominant win for Aaron Smith, who makes his second appearance of the season and takes his first win, nearly 30 seconds ahead of Corey Chassis, who makes some gains on Rick Putnam's championship lead. Jason Hightower just beats Anthony Serino to the line. That result sheet there showing no time between them at all. Serino wins in Am, though. Dave Mull separated him in the rest of the Am field. Scott Sadler gaining some points on Dan Cossack's championship lead down there. Tim Warchow getting back past Anthony Solomon on the last lap. Patrick Mason, Dylan Hessink with the final to finish, with Dean Diltz and Dave Hernandez both retiring early on, as we're about to see in our replays.
So what we've been looking forward to, of course, this is Dave Mole. Oh, when can we find the camera? There we go. This was at the beginning. He got a big old snap and unfortunately went and hit the wall, did Mole. That was Hightower going through there as well. We had Patrick Meese who went off the circuit, lost a spot to Anthony Solomon. Of course, we saw what happened to Solomon, but we'll have a look there as well. Meese with a big old slide and then unfortunately runs down the right-hand side of the wall. And then has this moment later on that... oh, there we go.
That's a spin through the carousel. There you go. Very easily done in this car. It's actually lower to the ground than you'd expect. Actually, really doesn't make the bumps very easy to deal with. Dylan Hessink's car, by the way, looks weird from the very beginning.
Yeah, it's already damaged.
Yeah, it's very weird. That's extremely odd. I don't know
where that.
No. It even looks weird. Why is that front bumper like that? That is so not like everybody else's. Oh, well. Oh, well. Oh! God. Oh, dear. He's survived. Why does it look like that? That's so weird.
I don't know, but he already had damage somewhere. So he's done something at some point for Dylan Hessink. We're a long way back in the time at the moment, but he's clearly hit something in that machine because he was already damaged before then, wasn't he? So that was a long way back between the Music incident. I wonder if I can find it. Oh no, he's done it before then. Finally,
yeah, something is odd about that car. But,
Anyway, he's hit the wall at some point. Right, this is David Hernandez. Unfortunately, this is coming down into turn 1. I've got a funny feeling that back end's on its way round.
Oh, yes. Well, he's still pointing the right way, at least, I suppose. And he just loses a couple of places there. Eventually, of course, didn't finish the race. He must be driving some sort of different body work or something, because that's not damage on the front. That's just different looking. Very deep on the brakes from Dylan Hessink there, and towards turn 1. Difficult braking zone, as I mentioned. It's not very powerful brakes in these cars, to be honest. Up the hill for Dave Hernandez, and this is why he was out the race. Big hit. Oh, very hit at Adnar Forst. Look at that suspension there.
Broke. Absolutely broke for Dave Hernandez. If he can... No, he surely can't get that back.
No, he didn't in the end.
No.
Going quite well through right-handers. There's a lot of camber on there, but not so well through left. As Anthony Solomon locks up, and that understeer was going on forever for him. A couple of incidents, unfortunately, towards the end of the race for him after a clean opening couple of laps. This is what we saw live, of course, with Dean Diltz just getting it slightly too wrong on the brake, slightly too late, couldn't get it turned in, slapped into the wall.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, that was one of the problems. Dylan, he's had an eventful one. Do you know what? That car almost looks like he's gone in for plastic surgery. And he got it done in a dirty back-end surgeon's office or something, doesn't it? Very bizarre for him.
It's really weird, yeah. It also looks a bit low on the rear right now, actually, but there you go. This is Tim Watchout, who eventually finished 9th ahead of Anthony Solomon, but not without his own issues. A big spin, actually, just before Flansgarten.
Yeah, that allowed Solomon to get up near him, and then obviously Solomon had his own own moment. This is coming in through Tiergarten here. Oh, he's hit the grass.
Whoa, that's way too quick. Goodness me. Thank goodness he was only a moment away from pit lane.
Yeah, and the car was broke. You can physically see that. I think at the end of the day, I think he's trying to move the car. He just literally cannot move the car. Dylan Esselink again. Poor old Dylan. It's a bit of a rough time in that car for the cinnamon crunch machine. Too fast and unfortunately goes off round the circuit. Last one, I think this was Solomon's run that we just caught here, where he ended up losing the car randomly. That was a bump on the road that basically set the car loose.
That's how Solomon lost ninth, and certainly easily done on the traction there. But all in all, it was a good round. There was plenty of battles going on throughout the race. It's fair to say. Great battle for fourth place ongoing throughout. Jason Hightower just about making it to the line ahead of Anthony Serino, and generally good racing there in the Arca for the second season in a row.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I wouldn't want to do it, but I enjoyed it.
Certainly wouldn't want to do it.
No, it looks too much like hard work.
It looks like very hard work indeed, yeah. So we'll not be racing anytime soon, but we'll be enjoying another round of the Arcas next season, if indeed there is one. We will, of course, find out on that front. But that is it for this round of the Tail Racing Ring Runners. We'll be back next week, of course, with the Radical SR8s. We'll be running, of course, on the 27th of November. The practice session opens at 8 p.m. Eastern, as always, and the racing, as always, will be done by 10. You're more than welcome to join. As always, the relevant information will be in the description, etc. So a big thanks to everyone who's watched this time around again. I've been Neil Leary alongside James Parfitt. Until we see you in 1 week's time for the penultimate round and the Radical SR8 round of the Tail Racing Ring Runners, it's goodbye for now.